Welcome everyone to Carolina Wild Harvest. Today we are going to be doing a video on our garden, a little bit of a garden tour for October 2020. We're going to go through the chickens, update you with them, the greenhouse, the mushroom stuff we have going on, as well as of course the garden. So let's go ahead and get started.
Alright, so here we are in the main garden. We'll walk you through what's growing here. So we recently just planted some spinach here in this section. We've got a drip line, so we've got the seeds planted right there. And then we've got some of our greens here. We've got a bunch of different varieties of kale. Some of this kale has had some major aphid damage and a little bit of damage from caterpillars this summer as well. But they're still growing, so they're looking pretty good. Still been harvesting a bit through here. We've also got some radish planted back behind here, as well as some peas. And we've still got a winter squash that's still growing here. It's harvested one or two fruits off here. Looks like one little fruit there. And some more radish and peas. And then we get into some of our Egyptian spinach here.
Onions.
Yeah, Egyptian onions, sorry. Nice. So that's that little section. We've still got a smaller watermelon here. I don't think this ever fruited for us. But we've got that still growing. Some more onions and also some tomatoes. So we planted these pretty late, but we are getting some fruit on them. So hopefully those give us some nice fruit.
And they were just cuttings of the tomatoes we already had.
Yep.
They are a mix of, not a mix, but all the ones we have from the cuttings are either strawberry tomato or a large red cherry.
Mm-hmm. We have some more peas against the fence line back here. Most of this section has not been planted out yet though. This is a bit of the newer section of the garden, so not quite as fruitful as the main section over there on the other side, but we do have a very sad, I believe, zucchini here. I don't think it's going to do anything before the frost. And then we get to our little trellis? I don't know what to call it. But this is I believe these are the Thai long beans. These have had some major aphid damage, which you can see here. I got some on my finger. And the ants are farming the aphids there. But I think that's mainly due to the poorer soil on this side of the garden. But they're still got a lot of fruit. So.
Yeah.
And then we also have a bitter melon back here on the same little trellis. So we should get some fruit from that, which is exciting. So then our next section, we do have some more tomatoes. Same deal as the ones you just saw. They are older cuttings. So these are planted mid to late summer. So they're just starting to fruit for us. And we recently planted also in this section some Swiss chard. So we've got a little bit of Swiss chard. Hopefully that does well. And then actually right below that, on the same row, we have some garlic. So we've got like 3 different rows of garlic here. That's like half the bed.
It goes the whole way, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the whole entire bed, half of that. So yeah, more tomatoes here. Big winter squash, still fruiting. Got quite a few fruit off of that. And yeah. So next side here in the older, more established garden, we have another section of Swiss chard that we planted out actually yesterday. And then right above it we have some carrots. We only have half of them that have actually come to seed. I see one right there, but this section has not done anything yet. There's a little dill plant back there as well. Got a Scarlet Kale. I believe this is actually 2 years old now, so we've just left it in to see how it does. And this is garbanzo beans, so the first time we've tried to grow these. They're looking alright. I'm not sure if they're going to flower for us before the frost or not, but kind of an experiment.
We did plant them late. So.
Yeah, we got them in kind of late, so we'll see. This is kind of a sad looking leek, I believe. It kind of fell over with the last big rain. But we're leaving it in to see what it does. And we got some turnips here, nice sized turnip. These were planted probably about a month ago now. So probably about time to harvest some of those. And then we've got a rhubarb. So I actually thought this was dead and gone, but it has come back. So that's good to see. And we have a okra. I believe this was the Aunt Hetty's red okra. It got cut in half when I was harvesting with a knife. But you can see it's kind of coming back here on some lower shoots. So hopefully we get one or two more fruit out of that. And then here in the same kind of section, we've got some very sad looking dragon tongue beans. We got quite a few fruit off of these, but we had lots of bean leaf roller caterpillars that attacked this and have absolutely destroyed it. So not sure how much more these are going to fruit this year for us. So on the same row, this is kind of a little path we have as a cut through, but we've got a lot of shiso that I've let go to flower. We'll probably be harvesting the flowers and composting most of those soon. But these are kind of volunteers that come up every year for us. And then some 4 o'clocks. These are just some flowers that I put in here. And you can see our massive watermelon back here on that first row, just above this row we were just looking through. It's a massive watermelon. That's the first watermelon we harvested this year, was off of that plant. And then we've got our trellis here. It has the Chinese yard-long beans as well as black-eyed peas. So 2 different beans, pole beans on these poles. Harvested quite a bit off of those so far. So that's the first 2 rows here of our garden. So we'll go back to the newest section over here. And all of this half of the garden over here is really only 6 or 7 months old. It's fairly fresh soil. This was all lawn about 8 months ago, in which we basically covered with some compost and mulch. So now we've got stuff growing here where the lawn used to be. So in this half of the 3rd row, we've got some red onions here. You can see one sprouting down here. The rest should be sprouting soon. Those are most of these were actually pulled from the ground from stuff we grew earlier this year that didn't fully bulb up. So we're going to overwinter these to try to get some better bulbs on those. And then next we have a little eggplant here. This is one of our extra eggplants we just put over here to see how it do. It's just now flowering, so hopefully we do get a few fruits off of it. But it being in the newer section of the garden, it probably won't be quite as fruitful as some of our other eggplants in different sections. And then the next kind of half of this bed is more of the Egyptian walking onions. We planted these from seeds that we harvested from the established bed over here in the main garden, in the older section. So these are looking really good so far. And we also have a okra, another Aunt Hetty's red okra. You can see we harvested quite a few fruits off of it, but it's probably about done for the year. And then at the end of this bed we have some cabbage. Let's see, this cabbage I actually already harvested this year, so I just took the top off and left it so we will get a little bit of extra heads there. But 1 or 2 more cabbage over here. Chickens. And then we have another winter squash here. It hasn't done much over here in the new section of the garden, but it's still alive. So right here's kind of our, I guess what most people would consider weeds, but we actually put these in salad. So this is a dandelion, this is some allium here below it, we've got some broadleaf plantain, and a few other lance plantains over here as well. So we kind of just let these go to seed and go wherever they want. You can also see some of our wine caps over here that we need to harvest soon. So those are fine little companion mushrooms that grow in the mulch here. So we also have, I guess, some French sorrel down here below this tomato. So that's an older sorrel that we've split up, and those are perennial, so they'll keep growing and doing well. And this is another tomato that we had a cutting of and just put over here to see what it would do. It doesn't look like it's going to fruit before the winter, although we do see some flowers on it. Alright, so let's see the third row in the main section. The same row on the other side. So over here we have some of our brassicas. I believe these are both broccolis. One is a purple broccoli, and the other is a normal broccoli. I can't tell you which one though. And we also have a cauliflower in the middle of there. So we've been adding lots of compost to try to get nice heads on these, but they will be smaller since they were planted pretty closely. We've got some, I believe, radish planted in the middle, just as a little companion plant there. And we've also got another tomato that we had a cutting of.
That one's actually a green zebra.
Oh, okay. Yep, this was a green zebra.
We haven't gotten any fruit, mostly because I think it was shaded by the brassica most of its life.
Yeah.
But hopefully next year we'll see some from that.
Yep. So next section here is arugula. I really like this green. Tiffany does not. She refuses to eat it.
Nope.
It is kind of spicy, so a lot of people don't really like that, and kind of, I guess, bitter a little bit too. But I really like adding a few of these to a salad. Gives it a nice little bite. So that's that. And you also notice a lot of these like wood sorrels through here. I like to let these go wild in the garden because I like to put them in water. They're good in salads and stuff too. So like, I'll take these little seed heads and just nice like citrusy flavor to them. Really good. So I like to let those go, and since they are oxalis, a family of the clover, they do fix nitrogen in the soil, so they're a good companion plant to have as well. Alright, so beside the arugula and all the wood sorrel, we do have some eggplants. We had 3 here, but we ended up taking the third one out since they were a little bit behind, and putting one in the greenhouse. But we do have 2 eggplants. I can't remember if this was the Rosa Bianca or the long purple eggplant, but it's an eggplant. So another brassica here. I believe this one is the purple sprouting broccoli. As you can see, a bunch of other little sprouts coming out the side here. So that should give us some flowers here soon, and we should have some broccoli. So that brings us to our tomato sections. I believe this one was the strawberry.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep.
So we've got 3 plants here. 1, 2, 3. We had 2 little bamboo poles and a tomato cage.
We'll be changing that next year.
Yeah, since we do the single stemming method, it's kind of hard to use a tomato cage. If you were to just let it go wild and not pull any of the suckers and not single stem it, these cages are pretty nice, but the bamboo poles have worked pretty well for us, except in high winds and stuff. But yeah, so that's that. And in with the tomatoes, we did companion plant with basil at the base. So we've got the normal culinary green basil and the purple basil down there. So those did really well. They've kind of end of life at this point, but we've had a few leaves off of them. And then let's see, this section.
An onion randomly.
Yes, we did have some onions on the 2, like a row beside the tomatoes, but that is actually the red onions that we moved to the other section over here. But we do have one remaining, and as you can see, a lot more wood sorrel. What did we plant here? We planted something.
Rainbow beets are right here in line with this shovel.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of whatever we had, and then this is.
Yeah, so I guess we can say what's already growing here. This was I believe it's a Queen Sophia marigold. It's a nice little small marigold. It's kind of at the end of its life, but you can see a few new flowers coming on. So we'll let this keep going. And then we've got some basil And then more tomatoes. So these were the Cherokee Purple, right?
Yes, and we have 2 up here.
Yeah.
We can...
Got 2 more there and more flowers up top.
Yeah, that plant's looking great. I mean,
Yeah.
even this one's not looking too bad. These ones are actually really slow to grow. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're big ones, so
Right.
we really haven't seen much. I think we got 3 total tomatoes from them.
And they were fairly small.
Right.
But yeah, looking pretty good. So we did recently plant when we planted the beets. We also planted some spinach here. We've got 2 rows of spinach we interplanted in here. So when these tomatoes and this marigold goes, we should hopefully have some rows of spinach. And we also have what's called mountain spinach or lamb's spinach, which is like a purple spinach. I believe it's actually related to a wild weed too, so I was pretty excited to get that and see how that does in the garden. So that is our 3rd row. So let's get on to the 4th row here. Just step over here. So let's see, I believe these are the black cherry tomatoes.
Yes.
So again, we planted 3 tomatoes side by side and did the same companion planting with the basils. So those did really well for us. We've still got quite a few fruit here that are ripening up. So should have some more harvests here throughout the rest of the fall. So I think that's it. We did have some radish planted below. I think we've harvested most of those. But yeah, so that's that section. And then right beside those tomatoes, we have the yellow pear. Is that right?
Yes. Yep.
Yellow pear. So again, a 3 set of those. And I don't think we had anything companion planted because we did have this basil kind of in the middle of these 2 sets of tomatoes. So those have done really well. They did kind of tend to split a little bit more with some of the fluctuations in watering we had. But they've done well. We've had lots of fruit from those. So yeah. So next section here, beside those pears, tomatoes are some more dragon tongues. Again, these kind of got hit with the leaf roller caterpillars. These didn't get quite hit as bad, but we do still have a few fruit on here. So we'll see how those do.
Up top, it seems like there's quite a few new ones.
Yeah, and they're kind of starting to climb like pole beans, which I don't think they typically do, but they might be trying to get away from those caterpillars. But yeah, these we really like these. They seem really tasty and a great bean. So yeah, we'll definitely grow some more of those. So besides those, beside them, we have another cauliflower. There's actually a little baby one here beside it as well. So I'm not sure if we'll actually get a flower before the winter or not, but we will see.
I didn't even know, but there's some onions in there too.
Oh yeah, we still have onions. And actually I just noticed too, we still have, this was actually planted here before the cauliflower, and this is a Red Bull Brussels sprout. So we might end up pulling this up or just letting it go throughout the winter, and then let it come back for us and fruit in the fall, or in the spring, that is. Alright, so squeeze through here. Our next section we have another okra, so another Aunt Hetty's red. So we're still getting a few fruit on it. So it's looking pretty good. So I think we'll get quite a few more before the frost kills it. And then right beside that in the same section we have a lot of Egyptian spinach. So this is kind of similar to the okra in the sense of it being like very mucilaginous and kind of slimy, but that helps it do really well through the heat. So we like to plant this just before the heat of the summer, and it's really prolific. You can see we've had quite a few harvests from it, which it just keeps growing back and having new kind of side shoots on it. So we feed this to the bunny. We eat some of this in salads and stuff like that. And again, we've got some red onions kind of planted around that on the sides. So those are kind of sprouting back after dying back in the summer a little bit. But we'll probably leave those here and see how they do. So I think this section here, do we have anything right here? This looks like carrots.
Well, no,
That might be a carrot.
was not supposed to be carrots. This from here over is supposed to be tango.
Oh, yeah.
And then right here we have the rainbow carrots. Also we have something else, I don't know what, growing.
Some kind of brassica maybe.
Yeah, so we have that, but these are looking great. Gotta thin those out for sure.
And we've got our bell peppers. I can't remember what color bell peppers. These were supposed to be orange.
Yeah.
So we haven't had any fully ripen on us because we did get these out kind of late since we started from seed on these. They were a little bit late getting out and planted, but we have had quite a few green peppers we've harvested. And we'll see if any are able to ripen up. You can see we've got quite a few fruit on there. But I mean, I like green peppers just as much as like a ripened one, but we would like to have a few ripened ones. So another pepper, and I believe, is that a mini bell? 2 mini bells?
No, these I think are like shishito, and then I think that one might be like a bell, but I know one of those is.
Yeah.
One
So
of the other ones.
those are definitely pretty far behind. You can see this one hasn't even flowered yet, and this one's just starting to flower. So we might end up digging those up and taking those inside for the winter, to overwinter.
And of course we have our blueberry.
Yeah, this blueberry provided a lot of fruit this year. We got another one back here that hasn't fruited this year. So hopefully next year we'll get some off of it.
And nasturtium.
Lots of nasturtium there. Nice edible flower, leaves and the flowers. And then this is a pepper. I got some seeds from actually some bell peppers, or not bell peppers. I guess they kind of consider these lunchbox peppers, I believe. I'm not sure on the exact variety, but I've been growing these from seed I got at the farmer's market. And then these plants I actually overwintered last year and planted out, and they are very prolific. They have lots of fruit, and you can see they kind of get this orange-red color to them. And they're not hot peppers, they're more like kind of sweetish peppers. They're kind of really good flavor to them though. So another pepper here, this is the banana pepper. We've kind of let this one go. We're trying to get some seeds from it. This is another one I overwintered and planted out and got quite a few fruit off of it. And then right below you here we have another pepper. I can't remember exactly which one this was. I thought it was a purple pepper, but it hasn't done really well over here. It's, again, we're in the kind of newer section of the garden, so not amazing soil yet, but it's done okay. We've had a few peppers off of that. So that's our peppers over here. Now we have an eggplant, another eggplant that was kind of an extra eggplant we had, and we put out over here to see how it do. It's just starting to flower. So hopefully you get 1 or 2 eggplants off of that before it frosts. Then we've got some bok choy. We've harvested quite a few. I think we had 2 rows here, and we've kind of just left these on the ground. They got hit with some pests this summer pretty badly. You can see some of the damage on the leaves here from some different grasshoppers and stuff like that, but they're doing okay. So we'll keep these in the ground a little bit longer before we harvest them. And it looks like we've got some more red onions kind of interplanted in here. I think these were just some extra ones we had that we ended up kind of putting wherever we had space. And this actually looks like garlic, so hello. And some more Egyptian onions. Looks like a little row here with some of our Egyptian walking onions. A extra watermelon, I believe, that we had.
Still a small guy though.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to do anything this year, but we'll leave it. And I think this was actually a cantaloupe, so you can see it's pretty much dead now. It didn't do anything. And we've got a tomato, another, I believe this is a cutting.
Yeah, should have been.
So this is a sucker we cut off of one of our other plants. I don't remember what variety it is, but we're just starting to get some flowers on it, so we might get 1 or 2 fruits off of this. And some flowers down below. Actually, there's a fruit. So.
Nice.
So cool, that's pretty much this section. Over here we've kind of got a compost pile where we had some extra mulch and stuff from the chickens that we piled up, and we kind of tossed some of our extra trimmings and stuff like that from the garden over here. kind of use this as a mulch pile, and the wine caps really like that. So we've got lots of wine caps off of there. But yeah, that's pretty much this row. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4th row of our garden. So let's start on the 5th row here. So again, the part of this row is kind of the mulch pile. We do have some strawberries that we thinned out from our main strawberry section, which you'll see coming up. But we do have a new row we planted out down there, and those look like they're doing really well. They've only been in the ground since we moved them, probably 4 or 5 days.
Yeah,
right?
not even a week.
Yeah, so they're already bouncing back, getting established there. And this is a really shady spot. We're right below a tree here. So, you know, we kind of have to strategically plant stuff that's going to do okay in the shade over here. Obviously the wine caps, the mushrooms, they really like the shade. So that's a good thing. But yeah, so other stuff we have here. This is one of our extra cucumbers, which we had a lot of cucumbers early on in the summer and spring, but we kind of didn't follow through on planting more, and we didn't really have any that did well later on. Some of these kind of didn't get as much attention as they needed, and then we just kind of planted them out wherever they could go. You can see the tops bitten off of that one, it looks like, but it's still flowering, so we'll just leave it, see what it does. We do have some garlic kind of thrown in here, some of the extra garlic we had from our harvest earlier this year, so I think there's garlic kind of just scattered throughout here, which Tiffany hates, but sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do.
I need order.
So you can see, obviously this is a watermelon. It's actually planted where you'll see over here. This is definitely one of our larger, more sprawling watermelons. We've got a big fruit down here, which we'll show you in a minute. So that's kind of taking over some of this bed. We do have another tomato here. I don't remember which kind.
Just a cutting.
Yeah, just another cutting. So we probably need to try to get that pulled up here, but it's kind of just like, you know, we didn't want to throw it in the compost, so we just stuck it in the ground. Other stuff over here, we do have some more of that French sorrel, nice little green extra to add to salads. Some red veined sorrel besides the wood sorrel, so a bunch of sorrels over here. I believe that's everything. We did have some lettuce and stuff in here, which actually there's one right there.
Oh,
little
there
tiny guy. I think that's actually from where we harvested one earlier. But I think that's everything we have over on this section.
Oh, there's a tomato surprise.
Tomato just hidden within the in the watermelon, but another kind of sympathy planting of that. All right, so let's keep going on.
Well, there's a artichoke.
Artichoke, a globe artichoke.
It's our best one so far.
The only one that's really survived dogs and cats and chickens trampling on things. So carrying on this row, we have some Swiss chard. This section really hasn't done that well. This Swiss chard is really the only one that's done okay, and we did plant a few more recently, which we're hoping will get established and do well over the winter for us. But yeah, we've had some pretty bad pest damage back here, and again, this section of the garden is a little bit shadier than the top of the garden. But yeah. So up above the Swiss chard, we do have another group of wild allium, so some wild garlic and onions. I just like to have those every once in a while if I'm feeling wild and want to add some stuff to my salads or cooking. And then some of the older Egyptian walking onions. These are actually probably a year old now, so they should have some nice bulbs on them. Little sticker here. Alright, and then next we have, which tomato is
Sun
this?
Gold tomato, I believe.
Cool.
This is a first for us. We did a batch of tomatoes really late, so this is going to be interesting to see how these are.
Yeah. And then, let's see, besides that, some more tiny Swiss chard here. Not looking too great. But then I interplanted some radish in there just as a companion plant, which they're taking over and doing a lot better than the Swiss chard that we transplanted because those were directly sown. So, but those are looking pretty good. We have another okra that's probably like 7-8 feet tall now.
Very tall.
So one more little fruit already set there, and a few more coming along, so hopefully we get some nice harvests out of that before the frost. And some garlic. This looks like actually a whole garlic bulb that was left in the ground. I started pulling some out, so we still need to kind of clean this section up. But yeah, a few more garlic in here. And then back here we have a cabbage. So I believe this is the Copenhagen market cabbage. So it's looking pretty good. It's had some pest damage, as you can see, but it's starting to head up for us. And I believe this is a broccoli. This was actually showed up this year just randomly, so I think we've got 2 of them here. So hopefully we'll have a little bit of broccoli. I believe those are the sprouting, purple sprouting broccoli. And then another tomato. Is this a sun gold as well?
No, these are all 3 different. Oh, there's 3 total in this row. I want to say this is either pink or purple bumblebee.
Okay.
Or something. It's a something bumblebee.
Cool.
It's shaded, so I don't even know
Yeah,
if we'll
it
get
got
much out
shaded
of it.
by some of the other plants here. But then, yeah, right below you here is some of our kale. Mostly scarlet kale here. There is a, I believe, red Russian that got eaten up pretty bad, but hopefully that comes back before the winter. And then we have our asparagus section. So we've kind of let some of these go crazy to focus some of the energy on the roots.
Very crazy.
We tried to put some stakes in and hold them back a little bit, but it's kind of hard to keep asparagus from falling over everywhere at this time of the year. But we got quite a few harvests off of those. I think there are 2 different varieties and 3 different individual plants here, kind of all in one section. So yeah, I really like asparagus, and I like to eat it fresh. Just come out here and pull it out of the ground and eat it fresh. So it's a fun one to have. And then below the asparagus, we have some more red veined sorrel that we planted this year. The other section that you saw earlier of the red veined sorrel, that one's like 2 or 3 years old now, but these are freshly planted. A few got eaten, I think, in here, but these are looking pretty good now. And then right here, we actually have a volunteer, what is it called? Crest Bittercress. So it's quite strong flavored green, but I like to add these to a salad every once in a while. Very bitter. Very spicy and strong, but it's really good for you, so I like to add that to salads every once in a while. And then another tomato,
Which is either pink or purple. One of these is pink, one of these is purple. Bumblebee.
Yep. And then some more
Shiso.
shiso. Yep.
And then Malabar spinach.
Yep. And some Malabar spinach going crazy and flowering.
And then we have our kiwis, which we finally managed to plant out just right here at the bottom. We hope they'll to trellis them up. That'll be cool. We have the male in the center. There's Everest, and the females on either side of the male. And then this is our strawberry patch that we thinned out. It's still looking good.
And then right below you here.
Yep. We got some radish.
And actually along the fence line you planted some peas.
Right.
As well, right?
And there's some you could see. They're just now coming up.
I think we're having some grasshoppers
Yeah.
too, so.
Everest thinks she's gonna get some strawberries.
Hey, you want a strawberry? We actually did pull some of our strawberry plants too, some of the extra ones that we had. We kind of expanded our section over here and moved them down to get more strawberries next year.
Yeah, next year it's pretty much gonna be crazy in here.
Yep.
I'm excited.
Yes, definitely. I guess we didn't mention up here on the other row too that where the watermelon starts. The watermelon that we were showing you earlier down here, it starts right here and kind of goes everywhere over here. But you can see we've got a nice size one here.
Can't wait to harvest that.
I know, very soon it should be ready. We kind of harvested the other one a bit early and ended up just juicing it, but it was still really good.
This one's the black diamond.
I believe so, yep. Yep, so that's that.
Oh, look. It's a fruit.
Yep, we finally got a few fruits on the West Indian gherkins, is that right?
Yes.
Yep, so these were planted again down on this new section of the garden in the shade.
And they were planted like beginning
early spring. Yeah, with all the rest. And this is actually a remaining muncher.
Yeah, muncher cucumber.
Yeah, so it's kind of gotten shaded out. We had munchers all down this bottom. But yeah, we kind of long for more cucumbers here. But
these are our last chance.
yeah, basically. And then this is some amaranth. I think it actually volunteered. It was a volunteer plant that just showed up from seed last year. It looks like it's got some mold on it and stuff, but it's cool. So again, some more mushrooms here through this shady section. Again, the West Indian gherkins here.
Got a nice mushroom there.
And I think that's everything. Did we miss anything?
That's it for the main garden. Alright, so here is the greenhouse. Now, the greenhouse video may or may not have gone up by now, where we redid the inside and we planted directly in. But here's an update to it. We have this first little bag here. It was mainly planted for this cucamelon. So our original big cucamelon area in the garden got infested with pickleworms. I got really upset. I was sad I never saved seeds. So then I did a designated bag, which we still have lettuce in. And it seems to be doing really well, and I hope we get some fruit. And then we have some tomatoes. Surprisingly, we got lots of fruit going on already. This one is the Sun Gold tomato, so that one we also have one in the garden of. And then I believe this one's also a Sun Gold tomato. Then this next one is one of our clippings from either a strawberry tomato or a large red cherry tomato, because we originally had a sunrise bumblebee and then it got eaten. Then this is the sunrise bumblebee, I believe. It's looking behind, a little bit behind everybody else.
Got some flowers starting.
Yeah, I hope to see some from, because this is one that I really wanted to grow. Then we have longevity spinach.
Correct.
This thing. We also have a video of that, a designated video of that.
Yeah.
Check that out. Find out more about it. Then we have our massive banana collection, which actually isn't as massive as it was at the beginning of the season. So we planted some of them out and gave some away. So we have my favorite right here, which is the Truly Tiny. This is kind of a greenhouse. It is a greenhouse variety, so it's easier to grow fruit. The fruit is much smaller. It's just those like little bananas that you would see at the grocery store if your grocery store has them. Then we have a some type of, I think they call it like a apple banana. I forget the actual name of it though. It's some kind of musa. But I'm excited for that. It's a bigger variety. And then we have another big variety. Again, I forget the name of this one, but this is one that will get ginormous. Like, did I ever tell you how many feet? I don't remember.
Like
offhand.
16.
Yeah, something like that. And then I think this might be a Truly Tiny, because I think we planted out the last dwarf Cavendish, so this has to be a Truly Tiny. And then another Truly Tiny. And that one's actually looking really good. I'm very hopeful we'll see fruit on that within the next few years. The two bags we have over here in the corner are potatoes. One is a gold potato, the other one is a red potato. The one that's not sprouting yet is red. We just planted those maybe like 2 days ago. And then we actually put in some Swiss chard. We have red Swiss chard and magenta Swiss chard. Kind of some extras that we had. And then an eggplant that the one we had moved from the garden into here. And then we have a couple more cucamelons, still holding out hope for some cucumbers, and a dead little
Dead pepper.
little mini bell pepper. And we have a watermelon here in the center.
Yeah, this was a volunteer watermelon.
He just showed up one day.
in the middle.
Let him grow, have fun. But that's it for the garden, or the greenhouse.
Yep.
So let's move on to the raised bed next. Alright, so here is the raised bed. I'm not 100% sure what these are, so Ben's going to tell me. This one.
Some kind of broccoli. I think it's just the green broccoli.
Okay, and then we also have one here, which, cauliflower?
I believe that one's a cauliflower.
I think so. And then we have another one here.
Yeah.
which whatever that is, brassicas of some sort.
Yeah, another cauliflower, I think.
And then right here, actually, we have a tomato, and this is actually the sunrise bumblebee. We have some fruit. You can actually see that it's striped. It's really, really cool. It's supposed to be red with like yellow stripes. This is one I've been most excited for. I just showed you one in the smaller one in the greenhouse. So this one I have hope for. And then we have a bunch of eggplants. So we have three different ones, and then two long purple, as well as,
which is going crazy. We've got one big fruit on it here.
One on that one.
And then we've harvested everything.
What's that one called? The Rosa?
Rosa Bianca, I believe. So we've got a nice fruit on that.
Looks so nice.
Yeah, it's a pretty one.
And then we have radish down here that we just planted. And then I think that's parsley still left over, right?
Yep, still some parsley that we companion planted with this tomato.
Which is actually a sucker of our original set.
Yeah, so this is a sucker. You can see down here. This is the original one. It kind of got absolutely crazy. Again, we single stemmed all of our tomatoes. So this was kind of a lower sucker that we missed.
And it just went, and then the other one was dying off. So we were like, let's keep it going.
Let's keep it.
And it's doing great. So then, I believe the last of this, we have some peppers here, some bell peppers. Looks like we got some damage on this one.
Yeah.
But we got a couple fruits.
Yep.
And then one I'm most excited for, our mini bell peppers. So this is about the size that they're gonna get right here. No more than that, like an inch. We got tons of them going on. I was kind of waiting for them to ripen, but I think I might start taking them off because they could be that color. They could be like more of a green. They could be a red. They could be, you know, there's a whole bunch of colors that it could be. It was a mix. So we have two of those going on, and then there's a really tiny one here that is
eaten up.
Yep.
We've had a lot of issues with grasshoppers and stuff here. Obviously, we're right beside the grass, the lawn over here. So we've had some issues there. And
then we have garlic kind of all throughout here. I did make like a, not a square, but like a arch, I guess you could say. There's none down here. And then lastly, I think we have the carrots that we planted here. What were these? Do you remember the name of them? I know they were they black carrots or something?
Yeah, they were something we got from Rare Seeds.
Yeah, we got, you can see it on our seed haul from them, but we only have 2 remaining. We planted like a little circle here.
Yeah, and they had really poor germination, so they actually gave us extra ones, but yeah, they were pretty bad. So, but we did miss one thing back here. It's the Egyptian spinach. We had quite a bit of Egyptian spinach back here, which we've cut back pretty heavily, but it's still growing. And I think we actually had a few plants in here that we ended up taking out just to have more space for the eggplants. But yeah, it's been a really productive little growing space.
Yes. I guess I forgot to mention we also had a strawberry tomato plant in here.
Yeah, that's right, on the corner.
Like doing its own thing.
Yeah, we kind of started a trellis here. So yeah, it's kind of gotten lots of fruit here.
It's doing great. I mean, you can even see from right here how much fruit we had gotten from it. It's insane. This is definitely one of my favorite varieties that I've been growing for many years.
What's going on, Heather?
Welcome to the chicken coop. So this is our main area.
You're gonna let the dogs in, I guess.
It's been a while since Zeb's been
No poop eating.
Alright, so we have separated the flocks. So we have the kind of the standard sizes in here, and then we have a coop with bantams in them. This one right here is Ophelia. Sweet Ophelia.
One of the older ones.
Yep, and next to her is Scout. Scout is our oldest chicken, running in about almost 10 years old.
Yep, and he is the top rooster in here. Definitely the dominant guy.
He's such a sweetie though. Oh my goodness.
He's pretty awesome.
And then this white one over here is the Silky mix. Her name is Elsa. And well, Scout is a Silky. Technically he's a Bantam, but since he likes these girls better, he stays in here. This is one of our newer roosters. He's our biggest rooster. His name is Zeus.
Correct.
And
not Rex.
I keep calling him Rex, guys. Seriously, I don't know why.
Our other
and that's
rooster.
our other rooster. His name is Mycos.
Let's see if we can get him around. You wanna?
Yeah, let me see.
Oh, look, we got some wine caps over here too.
We do?
Yeah.
Nice. Come on now.
Here's Mycos. And who's that? That's Lumen right there.
And
One of
behind her
the.
is Riza.
Yep, Riza.
And Rishi just came out from under the ladder.
Yeah, so we originally, when they were younger, we put some colored bands on them so we could tell them apart. But they're kind of getting different personalities and stuff now,
Yeah,
so we can kind of tell them apart pretty well.
Yep. Still working on taming them.
Yep,
So far, so good.
Yep.
Alright, so this is our little Bantam Pen. We have a lot of fun stuff going on in here. We have our fun little Silkies. I love Silkie's favorite chicken breed over here. Ben's least favorite.
Hey, that's not true.
This right here, may as well start with her. Her name is Rosemary. She's one of our new...
Oh, she's a little aggressive.
She's a little aggressive. She's one
learning.
of our newest ones. We had 4 little ones of these that were raised earlier this year by Peach over here, this buff colored one. And you can see they're all of them are right here, this little family. So right here we have Clover, this one's Cinnamon, and the one behind her is Sorrel. And then of course Peach, and then way back there is Dexter, our man of the coop. And then we have Maybelle. She's just chilling over there. Where's everybody else behind you?
Yep.
Hello.
Got Buffy back here, the other
Hi, Buff.
brownish Silky. And then we've got Miss June, who is the biological mother of our 4, what we call botanicals.
Yes. She is molting right now, so she looks a little rough.
Yeah.
Gotta get her that extra protein.
We've got Poppy over there, the white silky mix, right?
I think she's some sort of silky mix. That's my assumption. And then everybody out here, right? There should be one
I think
inside.
Thea is
A
inside.
little broody.
Oh,
We have Ludo too.
yep, and Ludo.
There were 2
So,
broodies.
Miss Thea and Ludo.
I just love when they're broody, but little pancakes.
Yeah.
Her hair is growing back from her last haircut. Oh goodness.
So yeah, that's the smaller group of chickens we have. And we separated them more for their health.
Their size. And
Yeah, because these girls, the botanicals as we call them, were born a few weeks before we...
Exactly 3 weeks, because
3 weeks.
as soon as they were born, we put the other eggs in the incubator.
Right, so the other Iamsimanis, the black ones from the other coop, obviously are a lot bigger than them, so we didn't want anybody getting hurt, especially as the new Iamsimani roosters are going through adolescence, which, yeah, I think it worked out pretty well. We just got this dog kennel at Lowe's and added some cattle panel to the top because we have some hawks in the area, and we definitely want to protect our chickens as best we can. And this guy helps protect against any possums or anything like that.
He's like, I love these.
Yeah.
I love these so much.
Yeah, he's a big fan.
He loves he'll cry for them. He loves them so much.
Yep. So one good thing about this coop back here, or this front, is we have this back garden, which is right beside it. So we often kind of open up this gate and let them kind of forage in the back here, where we have some of our raspberries and a few different kind of plants back here, and some mushrooms as well, some of the wine caps, and then the mushroom logs are back here in the shade as well. But they really enjoy that. You can see Miss Peach is ready for her foraging expedition. Alright, so here is the back garden, what we call the shade garden. It's again connected to the chicken coop that you just saw. We've got quite a few different raspberries and blackberries here that we got from my parents' farm. So we just dug those up earlier this year and planted them, and we actually got quite a few fruit out of those. So hopefully next year we have we have even more. We do have some garlic, some of the extra garlic from when we pulled the garlic this year. We planted here below the fruit vines. And yeah, so this area we kind of just plant some of our extra plants. So we've got like some random small tomatoes that we planted back here. Obviously they're probably not going to do anything at being October before the frost, and it is really shaded back here, so not much like tomatoes do very well. We did have quite a few tomatoes over here in this area where there's a bit more mulch, and some of those actually fruited here in the shade, so that was cool. We did plant some of our extra strawberries here. We've got a row of our strawberries, so kind of 2 rows here, and they're looking really good, looking like they're getting established. So yeah, and we also have some potatoes that we planted over here. The soil is not great over here, especially going this way, so those were kind of a shock that they actually grew. But that's it, besides some of our other random stuff. We do have comfrey. We split up some of the comfrey from the main garden and put it in different places, so we just planted this about a week ago. And then we do have some Echinacea that I planted a few years ago, so that is there. And I think that's basically everything. Obviously, got a marigold here, still flowering. And I think that's all of the random plants. We can say a few things over here. I did see a wine cap.
I saw quite a few. There's one here.
Yeah, so we do have some mushrooms back here. This is one of the first places I inoculated with wine caps. So yeah, now having the chickens in here has been good. Let's see, what else can we talk about? This is a gooseberry. So it's, again, this is a shadier spot, so this doesn't do amazing here. We might end up moving it next year, but it's done okay here. Let's see, some daylilies. I think that's everything of note as far as small plants. Got a pawpaw here. I've planted this sassafras tree. We've got a few sassafras trees here in the backyard. Another pawpaw here in the very heavy shade, so we'll see how that does. And then all of our mushroom logs. So most of these are the oysters. Then we have some other oysters back here where Ev's checking out. And then we have our shiitake logs here under this dogwood tree. So these are just starting to get fully inoculated. You can see some of them I sitting in there, so hopefully we're gonna have some mushrooms soon. Alright, so that's it, everybody. That's the state of the garden and chickens and greenhouse in October. So hopefully we have a good fall and winter season ahead of us, and we got a lot growing on. So let us know what you think of the garden and the chickens and everything. Let us know what your favorite maybe thing we're growing is. And yeah, we look forward to reading your comments, and we hope you like and subscribe. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.
See ya.